welcome to another episode of Into the Blue Zone, a plant-based production and the podcast of San Diego. Today we have lovely ladies of the Plant-Based Meal Now production, Miss Angela
Stanger,
already off to a good start, and Miss Sonya Gomez.
Yes.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining the show. It's an honor to have an Instagram acquaintance in the studio that we just met about 10 minutes ago, and here to pump up the plant-based lifestyle, your business, which is called Plant-Based Meals.
Yes.
And share a little bit about your journey in the vegan world, and also, what you're doing to supply San Diego with plant-based prep meals.
Yeah.
So let's get into our vegan discussion. Angela, you've been vegan for 23 years.
Yes. I turned vegetarian when I was 11, actually. My sister turned vegetarian first. She's 2 years older than me. And as soon as she told me that meat came from an animal, I immediately stopped eating it. And my mom would try to sneak meat into my food, into my meals, because she thought I was going to be unhealthy. She thought I was going to be protein deficient, and my growth would be stunted. I was a growing girl. And so she immediately started to do research, and to learn how to feed me. And she realized that actually there was plenty of research, and this was in the 90s, that a vegetarian and, at the time, a vegetarian diet was much healthier. And so through her research, because she loves to study, she became vegan first. She cut out dairy and everything. At that time, at my age, I didn't understand the connection between dairy and the meat industry. And so I was vegetarian from 11 to 15, and then at 15, when my brain could kind of comprehend it, I turned vegan immediately. And so that was how I became vegan. And I have never felt like I was giving anything up. It was just fueled by this passion for animal rights and just my values. And so it was very easy for me. But at the time, of course, soy milk tastes like chalk. There wasn't a lot of options out there. So just out of necessity, our whole family did cook a lot, and so that's how we learned to make amazing vegan food.
Well, thank you for being vegan. I've been vegan for 5 years, and it's been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
So it's always fun when we can share with our viewers, if you can give a little wave, and the listeners, that you don't miss anything when you're vegan. So that's amazing. And Miss Sonya, what about your story and your vegan path?
So I'm actually an omnivore. And so the majority of our customers are omnivores themselves. So the great thing about our food, so we are a 100% vegan company. We are 100% whole food plant-based. We don't use in our base food, we don't use mock meats. You can add it for an additional cost, but we don't use mock meats. I know when we bring leftovers home, the amount of animal consumption my household eats is drastically decreased.
And you brought me over a beautiful gift.
Yes.
And let's just kind of backtrack for a sec and go over what it is you guys are actually doing. So share a little bit about what your name is in the business world, how long you've been doing it, and where people can find you.
Yes, so we are plant-based meals, and we've been doing this for over 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. We actually started February 2020.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And COVID, what a blessing in disguise for your business. I was looking on the website and I couldn't get your name right. Apologies for that.
No worries.
The website, though, I saw a couple things. You started and with COVID in your SD Voyager write-up, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Like, what a great idea. Oh my God, I don't want to go to the grocery store. COVID hits and you guys are like, wow, this actually helps us.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about COVID impacting you guys positively as a business.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so honestly, when we sat down, we did kind of start with the values of the business, because that's something that's very important to us. So when COVID hit, our first thought was, what can we do to support the community? So we started a senior meal program, and we did grassroots efforts. We didn't work with any other organization. We were just literally finding people that needed food, that weren't able to leave their house. They were homebound, and it really did affect seniors and people that were more at risk for COVID to have, lethal effects. I mean, people were dying. We kind of tend to forget that. But when COVID hit, there were thousands of people that were being hospitalized and needed food. So we really hit the ground running with that. And what helped support that was our individuals that were ordering meals. So we were funding all of that ourselves. And we did raise a little bit of money as well, but everything was double, tripled through us. So the business side really helped fund our community efforts side.
Going off of what Angela just said, it was a very, very scary time. As you remember, when it first happened, it was like everybody's gonna die. Like, people were dying, but it was very scary. People were on lockdown. Elderly could not leave their homes. People with immunocompromised immune systems, like, they couldn't leave. So the great thing about our food, it's probably the healthiest meal prep company you can find. We are whole food, plant-based, and what better way to build your immune system but eating healthy whole foods. So when that came to happen, people couldn't leave to find good food. They couldn't go to the grocery store. So we were happily delivering to people, and we were happily cooking for these people.
Yeah,
that's.
I think during that time, people were looking for healthy food, right? And
Totally.
And learning about veganism and learning about the food chain. Where does food come from? Like, we were looking at the China markets, like what were people eating over there, and how is the food being kept? So we definitely we were already there for people when they started to research us to be able to deliver. And that's the other thing, is we deliver right to our customers' doors, so they really didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And we did that with the seniors as well.
That's incredible. The healthiest delivery food option you could get. You guys have a huge market, and are you guys looking to expand even further than San Diego?
Of course, yeah. Ultimately, that's the goal. We would love to spread nationwide, worldwide. I mean, anybody who's willing to eat healthy, anybody who's willing to put these nutritious meals in their bodies, we want to be right there. It's a matter of, getting there. We are growing. There is a demand for us. A lot of people don't know how much they need our food, how much they want our food, how delicious our food can be. So there's definitely a lot of work to be done. But
what do you think are some common misconceptions about plant-based vegan, and do you think like there's a more positive connotation to, hey, it's the plant-based meals as opposed to vegan meals?
Yeah, one of the common things we hear is people don't think the food's gonna taste good.
Right.
Where am I gonna get my protein? I'm gonna get sick.
Let's go one at a time there, because there's so much
There's
to talk
so
about. Right?
many.
And you guys, we're at a gym yesterday, so let's just backtrack one day. March 1st, right? Yesterday was March 1st, 2022 for record keeping. So when 10 years from now,
Women's
we're
History Month.
Women's History Month, big time. So the start of Women's History Month, you guys are at a gym, bunch of dudes, probably some chicks, working out, right? What's the gym called?
The Hillcrest Athletic Club CrossFit is actually owned by a woman as well.
Oh, perfect. So Hillcrest
Crystal.
Athletic Club.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, in Hillcrest, San Diego. Crystal, shout out. So you guys go there, you reach out to Crystal, and
we were actually invited in, which, Crystal is really amazing because she's really opening up the CrossFit community to a plant-based lifestyle. So they're doing a challenge right now, which is Meatless Mondays. And we invite any company listening to the podcast right now to incorporate that, because it's a great motivator. The companies now with social media can take on the responsibility of passing along honest information to their employees. And companies also want their employees to have energy throughout the day, to be more productive, to stay in good health, so that they're not calling out sick, so that they're not taking, the production away from what they're paying their employees for. So that's something that we're passionate about getting into as well. If you are a company and you want to feed your employees one day a week, meat free, get a meal package from us. We make that very, very easy.
Yeah. And actually, one of our customers goes to that gym, so she collaborated with Crystal to help set this whole thing
To
up.
facilitate.
Yeah, so it was one of our customers who actually tried our food, love our food, incorporated our food into her diet, and brought us to her gym. So
Love it. And what was one of the popular questions you would field from the clients of the gym?
protein.
Yeah, they want to know their macros.
The macros, they did have to look at the nutritional information, which we do have on the website, but one of the questions was protein.
Yeah, and they seem to be happy with it. Our protein starts at around 20 grams per meal. It goes up to around 35. So between 20 and 35 grams. You're going to get it. No one in America is protein deficient. So we really don't have to worry about that. It's just a common question because of, you know, the misunderstanding of how protein plays a role in our bodies. So.
Yeah, I love that. You're so spot on, and I love your experience, and you've been doing it for so many years. You're probably very educated, and the protein deficiency is such a
It's a very common misconception.
Yes, and everything has protein, and unless you're trying to be like the world's strongest man and a bodybuilder, you really don't need that much more protein. If you want to put on muscle, you need to work out more.
Yes.
You probably need to put more work in than just eating protein.
Yeah.
Or you could be like Popeye and just
Spinach.
drink spinach, and then your arms just blow up. But you know,
Exactly.
spinach is plant-based.
Yeah, right?
Crazy.
Yeah. I would say, sorry to take over, I'm very passionate about this and just the health around the plant-based diets. If what American diets tend to be lacking is fiber and vitamins and nutrients, you know, antioxidants. So there's tons of antioxidants in fruits, and as a volleyball player yourself, you know, you're active. You said you are a runner, so you want that energy to sustain you throughout the day. So you need, you know, antioxidants. You need carbohydrates, which people think like it's the enemy, but
let's go dive further there. So protein deficiency is not really a thing. We got the guys blowing your car in our driveway. Hopefully they leave because I did a bunch of yard work the other day. I'm gonna tell this guy to shoo out of here.
Oh, like he's right there.
Yeah, hold on. Hey. Hey, brother. Hey, we're good. I'm doing a podcast. Love you. Thank you. That was bothering me from the moment he walked up. All right. And we don't really edit too much here. Well, I don't really edit too much. You know, people. It's all part of it. So
the live experience.
Yeah, exactly. Protein deficiency, not really a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for people like guys, like, you know, who are working out all the time, like, you're not gonna melt away. You're gonna be okay if you're vegan and eating plants, and then carbs. Let's dive into carbs.
Yeah, I mean, your body uses carbs to have energy.
Colin Campbell suggests 80% of our breakdown should be carbs.
Yeah.
So there's carbs, proteins, and fats. He's saying 80% should be carbs. And there's diets like keto diet that are like no carb free and like carb free.
Super high fat, super greasy. And
it's totally opposite of what this man's saying, who's studied it for, you know, way longer than us being alive.
Well, our body knows what to do with carbohydrates. You know, so we don't store extra protein. The protein that we don't use gets flushed out and we pee it out. So it's not being stored in your body. So there's no reason to take in excess protein. So carbs are good. Plant-based foods have plenty of protein. Yeah.
We're just going through a little checklist here.
Protein's good as well. It's just that our body makes its own protein. So when you eat protein, our body will break it down into its amino acids and use the amino acids that we need to make our own protein. So there's, you know, millions of different protein molecules in your body, and our body is using it based on the amino acids. So the 9 essential amino acids that our body doesn't make, we get from plants. So the only way to get those amino acids is through eating plants or through eating animals that ate those plants. And then there's the energy degradation where, you know, you want to go directly to the source to get those. So, yeah. I definitely encourage everyone to look more into it themselves and not just trust us, and not just trust anyone.
Totally.
Definitely do the research yourself and taste it and see how you feel. You know, I don't want to be someone that's trying to convince anyone to do anything.
That's my job.
There you go.
Yeah, and there's so much more research being done in the last decade, 5 years, you know, than there was 20, 30 years ago. You know, vegan wasn't even a thing like 30, 40 years ago. And now it's like on the forefront of a lot of people's minds when they're eating every day. And there's documentaries and there's, you know, books. Have you watched any documentaries on Netflix about it?
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
I really do enjoy the Forks Over Knives documentary.
Have you seen any other ones?
I've seen Game Changers.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many out there.
Yeah.
There's so many out there
just
now.
accessible.
Definitely.
Yeah, the Game Changers was really powerful because I think it spoke to where our society's at with kind of idolizing athletes and actresses, and they kind of brought those people in. They also brought in doctors and showed the blood samples. Like, this is what your blood looks like after you eat a plant-based burrito. This is what your blood looks like after you're ingesting saturated fats and animal protein. So you're actually seeing the cloudiness of the fats in your blood, and you're like, oh, why do I feel tired? Well, my blood's cloudy.
Why do I have high cholesterol?
Yeah.
In plant-based foods, there's no cholesterol, which is like a lot of people's problems when they go to the doctor.
The
Cholesterol is high.
whole food plant-based foods, which is exactly what we are, and we don't use added oils or added sugars in our food, so we zero cholesterol in our meals.
So you brought me over some black bean
Yeah.
balls that look like falafel balls.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you make them if you didn't use added oil or?
All plants.
It's a very simple recipe, actually. Black beans, gluten-free rice breadcrumbs, some onion, some flaxseed. The flaxseed definitely helps bind. And some sriracha, some garlic, salt and pepper, and you got yourself a black bean ball. It's very, very simple.
Delicious too. You have to let us know how you like it.
Okay.
It's very good.
We'll do.
Taste it with some of your sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll show you guys. Do you want to try some of this?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So, why don't you guys start opening up the jars? I have a homemade recipe Caesar salad dressing and dip. I have some purple and green cabbage that I washed and bit off. No, I didn't bite it off. I just ripped it off.
Those are your teeth marks.
And then I actually had another friend of mine who's an acupuncturist,
Sorry.
Kevin Kraft,
Thank
on
you.
the show. And Kevin, I gave him some kale and I didn't wash it. I said, "Is this okay?" Like, I didn't wash it because I don't really wash my food. So for me, it was like a big deal to prep it and wash it.
Really good.
I hear like B12 is in. You just enjoy that for a little bit. I'll keep going. And everyone's watching, so the goal's to pump it up and team up together. And
It's delicious.
it's so freaking good.
Really, really
So
good.
Simone Caesar. Simone is my mom. She's an amazing chef. She went plant-based with my dad like a month after I did 5 years ago.
Wow.
And she's in the kitchen all the time. Her sister Ina was a professional caterer in San Diego for private clients. She would often go to La Jolla for Jewish holidays, L'Chaim, and then you know, my mom had this recipe all the time, and I was like, all right, let's get off my ass and start doing stuff and see where it goes. So I'm just happy I could give it to people now and have it myself instead of waiting to travel back to Savannah, Georgia, to have it like once or twice a year, because it is so much better
What's
than
in it?
other Caesar dressings.
If you don't mind me
Happy
asking.
to share. Happy to share.
It's so good.
And
Sorry.
I'm happy to sell to Jeffrey Harris. Do you know Plant Power?
Yes.
Yeah, so I went up to Jeffrey's house. He's the CEO and co-founder.
I was
And
listening to
did
the
a
podcast. I
Oh.
was listening to it, yeah.
So I gotta sell Jeffrey this Caesar dressing recipe.
Yes.
You know, I feel like Plant Power, Jeffrey, if you're listening, you guys do everything amazing. You can improve your Caesar dressing. Not because I have it, just saying. Everything's amazing. The ranch is amazing. What's
This is
in this
really,
is
really delicious.
It's amazing, and you guys enjoy that. You have it. I'm sure you're so used to feeding other people that, you know, this high bougie meal here. And cabbage is like nice and crunchy. It's kind of like a chip. I figured that's amazing
Definitely.
with some kale. So
Close
it's
that door
soaked
now.
cashews, and then a little nutritional yeast, pickle juice, apple cider vinegar, Bragg's aminos, tamari, vegan Worcestershire sauce,
Okay.
white pepper, salt, lemon, like a fresh lemon,
Yeah.
garlic, and some water, and you blend it all up.
No olive oil.
No added oil.
Yeah.
No
Yes.
added oil. Come on, bring it around town.
Yes.
No added oil. No added sugar.
Love that.
Kind of going off the same thing
Love
you
that.
guys are doing, and it is dynamite. I think
It's so good.
that you could just pull back.
I know. Sorry.
I'm a customer.
The pickle juice is surprising. Yeah.
Yes,
I
we
think
use
pickle juice
capers
is
in
good.
ours.
And
Yeah.
capers.
Oh,
Okay.
you have
That's
capers
the
as
one
well.
thing I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot going
Capers
into
and
it.
Dijon.
Yeah.
And we use Dijon.
Okay. See?
No added organic, no added sugar. It's a big list of stuff. So, I don't want to be like a robotic
Yeah.
and spit out like 20 ingredients
No,
just
no.
like that. But I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, for sure. And the Bragg's liquid
Bragg's
aminos, we
aminos.
use that a lot in our sauces
Yeah,
and our
so-
food. It's amazing. It's an amazing secret ingredient. Secret, not so secret now. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm glad you
I
use
can't
it.
tell you the quantity at which we do. I can tell you
Yeah.
if you want to,
really delicious.
knock your socks off and try to figure out how much of each thing, go for it, or you can just give me $10. I'm happy to, you guys
That's
free
the
all
way.
the time. Yeah,
That's
I'm
more
public.
convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just Venmo. Well, I need to be delivering it to people's doors too. So,
For sure.
uh,
Or, like you said, farmers markets,
yeah,
pop-ups.
I think I have a couple meetings lined up down the road, so would love to get them in the local stores like Cream of the Crop in Oceanside and Just Peachy right up the street here. And yeah, I think farmers market seems like a route that I might have to take. I'd rather just bypass that and go right into the stores and see if
For
it
sure.
works.
Yeah.
I also love the farmers market. Do you guys ever go here, Lucadia one?
Not up here. So I actually live down by Hillcrest and Mission Hill, so it's
Okay.
quite a drive to come up here.
Yeah.
But when I do, I just love to utilize whatever's out here.
Yeah.
You know.
We're lucky in San Diego. There's farmers markets. in
Yeah.
almost
Everywhere.
every area.
Yeah.
The Hillcrest one is really good.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
like kind of on that street and it's just lined up and my
I
buddy
really
used
do
to
like
sell
that
pasta
one.
there.
Mm.
Yeah, that one's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times we find local vendors at farmers markets. Like we use San Diego Tempeh, which is a local
Soy free. Yeah, soy free tempeh.
Yeah.
Hey Max.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be good to see Max at your local farmers market.
Yeah.
He usually tries to hit them all. And then, we've had some mushroom vendors there, some just local produce. So California is really good for that.
It's probably
And
the best.
we
yeah.
would love to see you there. I mean, farmers markets, I think it's a great resource to educate.
Totally, and that's exactly kind of the path.
Yeah.
With only having one product or two. I actually have a Thai peanut sauce.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you guys come back for more.
Next
You know,
time, yeah,
always
for
leave them
sure.
wanting a little more.
Yeah.
You can't share. So the Thai peanut sauce is really good on cabbage too, and it's a lot easier to make. It just doesn't produce as much because it's very peanut buttery with some sriracha and some other stuff.
Yeah, we
Sounds
have
amazing.
our peanut sauce in the menu this week.
Yeah.
See,
So
we can do
let's
a little
talk more about the plant-based meals.
networking.
What's like the most popular items that you guys are continuously making that you're like, people really love this?
So first and foremost, our pasta dishes are actually the most popular. I think a lot of our customers who are transitioning into plant-based or who were previously omnivores, something they miss the most are these Alfredo sauces, the pesto sauces, right? All these sauces that traditionally have animal product in it, cheese, dairy, but to know that we can make pastas that taste just as good or better with just plants, that's something our customers really, really love, our pasta sauces and our dishes.
What's like a good cheese substitute for someone watching and listening? I could rattle off a bunch. What do you guys like to use?
So we make everything from scratch. So if I'm looking to incorporate kind of like a cheesy flavor into the meal, I'm going to use nutritional yeast. And nutritional yeast with lemon and salt is kind of like a base you can put into any dish that you're looking to make a little bit more cheesy. But they have a bunch of processed foods on the market. It's not something that we use in house, but It's definitely a resource for people that are looking to transition at home, using plant-based parmesans and mozzarellas and
feta.
all the feta,
it's all out
the
there now.
spreads, the ones that melt. So there's a lot more out there than what we're using.
Yeah, definitely for us it's nutritional yeast. Cashews definitely help. We do use hemp seeds, hemp hearts in our sauces as well. But
Some people are nut free or they want a lower fat content. So it works.
It's a lot of experimentation with what to make something taste like cheese. There's so many different ways than just dairy.
Definitely.
And it's a lot of R&D.
Yes.
You're like, this tastes good. And then what
That's the fun
about
part.
right? I'm like trying I'm like, man, this could be problematic. You can't eat your own supply. And I've been eating my own supply. I'm like, it's okay.
I think if you were probably eating as much vegan cheese as real cheese, you would be a lot bigger, right? Because you look pretty healthy.
I'm gonna keep it together. I work out. Yeah, I mean it's coaching volleyball for I like anything active. Here's a funny story. As a kid, I used to sleep with like balls, like footballs and soccers and basketballs. Not quite. Maybe when I got older. So I was always active and just played about every sport possible. And I was just talking to a buddy yesterday, and I was like talking about pickleball, and he's like, I don't really want to pick up a new hobby. And I think I have like one too many hobbies, because I find myself trying, like doing something I like, but so infrequently that I have so many hobbies. And it's an interesting topic, hobbies, and like, figuring out where you want to allot your time. And right now it's like all about the career and the business. That's where a lot of my energy's going, and it sounds like you guys have the same thing going on. What are some of the foods that can represent meat? For an example, like you guys did the black bean. That kind of looks like a meatball. So black beans are great for patties. What else do you guys suggest? Like fish?
So definitely, with our food, because it is whole food plant-based, we don't really use the mock meats unless our customers decide they want to add it on for an extra fee. Mushrooms are actually a really good substitute for it. It's a very meaty texture, and it absorbs marinades really, really well. So it's definitely a great substitute. We jackfruit. We use a lot of jackfruit in our Mexican dishes, especially our tacos, our tamale dishes. It's a really good substitute for pulled pork and absorbs flavors really well.
Yeah, mushroom meat is amazing. Have you tried lion's mane mushrooms?
We have.
What have you done with lion's mane mushroom?
Made tacos.
Yeah,
that was
and
another
what's like the sauce on top?
Steak.
Because for me, it's like all about the sauce. Like, what are you using for the lion's mane?
It has been a while. Do we use like an adobado sauce?
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a pineapple, spicy type sauce with salsa.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done that a little bit with like, I need to create like a butter sauce for almost like a seafood style, like for a pasta with lion's mane with like olive oil and garlic and create some nutritional yeast, some buttery sauce, maybe some of this, and put it in with like pasta. Yeah,
that's really good. I mean, in terms of like when we have our more quote unquote seafood type dishes, we do use kelp. Kelp does give like that more sea flavor to it without actually having a fish or a oyster or whatever it is else with that fishy taste. Kelp is really helpful. Kelp and lemon and Bragg-Sickotominos. That's really good too.
Yeah, so like what about other crustaceans like shrimp? Have you guys been able to mock shrimp or like fish?
The poke bowl, it's not shrimp. Yeah. Thank you. It's not shrimp, but for those who like poke, we did make a poke bowl recently with cut up beets. It was delicious. Yeah, we marinated the poke or the beets in poke marinade with like ginger and it was delicious with soba noodles. It was amazing. And
okay, that sounds amazing.
with kelp on top, it just It was
It's
great.
a funny question because you're asking about the substitutes, and I've been vegan for so long. I have no idea. Like, I don't even know what shrimp tastes like. I don't know what any of these things taste like because I didn't even eat fish when I was young. So when I was eating meat, I never ate fish. But then, like, the meat I did eat was like Taco Bell and like whatever. You know, my mom would make like flank steak and breaded chicken and stuff like that, but I just don't remember it. So like I'm always asking Sonya.
I'm just like, what does Caesar salad taste like? Like, what does like traditional tartar sauce taste like? And I'm like, okay, let me taste it. Okay, then use a little bit more of this or that. But what did we use for the ceviche? It's been a while since we had ceviche.
The hearts of palm.
Hearts of palm. Very good fishy substitute. Yes.
Yes, hearts of palm. You could chop it or string it.
So
I like
good.
hearts of palm for like a pulled chicken. If you kind of use a fork and string it and then put like a Mexican style enchilada sauce or something, it looks like it's a lot of visual for me. Like watermelon, if you chop it up, looks like, you know, tuna.
Yeah, I've seen people substitute watermelon as a fish. I haven't tried it myself. Does it marinate really well? Does it?
I don't know about the marinade.
Okay.
It's just visual.
The
for
visual.
Me. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't. It's been a while. I don't really miss the taste of any of it, and you know, the cheese, and you get some good sauces. I think my favorite part of living in San Diego and being vegan is the burritos. Do you love burritos? Because like for me, it's like any burrito spot. Well, you just tell them rice, beans, and potatoes, and then you add whatever else.
Yeah. So I'm a really hardcore vegan. So I don't walk into a burrito shop and get burritos because I want to know if there's lard in the tortilla, if there's chicken in the rice, chicken like bouillon, chicken broth in the rice, if there's lard in the beans. So I pretty much really only go to places that I know are 100% vegan. I don't even like to use like the double fryer. Like, it would need to have its own oil if something's gonna be fried.
So you
kind of
have
one of those.
no leather products.
No.
Good
No.
for you.
And I think that's something we can talk about is the difference between vegan and plant-based, because plant-based really refers to your diet, and you can still wear leather, you can still buy products tested on animals, you can I mean, you can do, you know, whatever, but you're just ingesting plant-based foods, and people come to that for a lot of different reasons. Something that we really look for in San Diego is to support doctors. So doctors, you know, want their patients to be healthy. They're, you know, having a huge influx of people coming to them with stroke, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, all of these diet-related issues that are caused from high inflammation, plaque, cholesterol, you know, just very high inflammatory foods. So with our meal prep, we're able to support doctors having their patients meet their goals. But that might be the only thing they're changing. They're not looking to change anything else. They're just looking to change their diet. And that's great because every choice makes a difference. And through diet, we're also learning that we're changing the climate. And we're changing deforestation. We're not clearing out land. You don't have to clear out that kind of land to grow plants. We're clearing it out to grow livestock. So every meal does make a difference. But someone that's vegan isn't wearing leather. They're not buying products tested on animals. They have a general concern for animal welfare and stuff like that. So for anyone that doesn't know, that is, you know, a big difference.
Yeah, there's a huge discrepancy. Like, merging the two is not kosher. Well, you can. It's just like understanding the scale.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally fine. You just like, there's vegetarian, vegan, and plant-based.
Yeah.
And they're all different, and they all kind of have different meanings. And like, what do you think about Chipotle, the fast food restaurant? They like claim they're plant-based chorizo. Like, is that plant-based or is it vegan?
Well,
have you seen the commercials?
Being Mexican, I'm not the biggest fan of Chipotle. I think it's a false representation of Mexican food. Personal opinion. So I've only actually been there once in my life.
Wow.
I don't, and I was back in college because it was across the street in Fullerton. But, but
back in my college.
Yeah. So what is their plant-based chorizo made out of? Or?
I don't know, but it's like kind of false advertising. It's like, it's probably vegan. Like, it's not plant-based. Like, it's not.
I see what you're saying.
It's not whole food plant-based. Like, your
saying.
black beans and your jackfruit taco is whole food raw plant-based.
I see.
And the term plant-based has
Yes.
caught traction
Yeah.
and is more glamorous
Mm-hmm.
with the public eye,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna use the word plant-based, not vegan.
You know, there's
Because
no regulation on what can be labeled plant-based. So if you go into the store and you see a sauce that says 100% plant-based, you look at the ingredients and there's egg in it or there's cheese in it.
Wow.
It's like, what
Yeah,
exactly does plant-based mean? And for us, it's straight from the ground. If it's whole food plant-based, it comes straight from the ground. It is all plants. We don't consider egg plant-based. We don't consider cheese plant-based. So it's definitely something that's very confusing to the average consumer, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm eating plant-based. Look, it only has egg in it. Well, no, not necessarily. Let me try to tell you what the studies show what plant-based is, what research show what plant-based is. And that is a huge problem right now, is advertising.
It seems like a common tactic in our world, you know, with all the diets and all the fads with foods and this and that, and you know, is butter good for you from back in the day and this and that, and now we're gonna have to create like a new term on top of plant-based, whole food plant-based, which is already created. It's not like we're creating it, and now it's got to be labeled whole food plant-based, and it's just more confusion added to the public. And they're like, well, I don't know, I'll just keep doing my own thing.
It's overwhelming. Have you ever heard of the paradox of choice or seen the TED Talk? It's where, so there's an example of like salad dressing, for example. Let's say you're selling 20 different salad dressings at a farmer's market and you have 20 different samples out for your customers. The chance of them buying something is actually less than if you only had 3. Because with so many options, they get overwhelmed, they get confused, they're just going to freeze and leave. But if you have only 3, it's going to be like, it's easier, it's less on the brain, less decision on the brain. So with your salad dressing, for example, like, or with plant-based, if there's like whole food plant-based, vegan, there's so many different labels, it's like overwhelming. I just want to be healthy. I just want to save the animals. I just want to do something that's better for the environment. Like, there needs to be clearer cut, more education. I don't know.
Simple. Keep it simple, stupid,
simplicity.
Right? Yeah, and that's it's like you go to the farmer's market and it's like, oh, I'll have that because they only have that. And you go to the grocery store and it's overwhelming. I don't really go to like, traditional Vons or Stater Bros, more like Sprouts, and like a lot in there is processed, and it's crazy. I get freaked out.
Yeah, I will say I did have a bad experience at Sprouts being a vegan, but they have often plant-based specials, so they'll put like everything in the store that's plant-based is 20% off or something, which is a great
incentive.
I think the program's great, but they do mislabel things, and I had to go to management because some of the frozen products that were labeled plant-based had egg, and to me that's not plant-based, but it's not regulated.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I think that podcasts like yours are very important because it gets people talking about it, gets people aware, and I just encourage everyone to read labels. Get in the practice of reading them, and I know I've been in the practice of reading them, and I'm still reading them because I don't want to pick up something that just says plant-based on it and trust it's plant-based. I'm still going to read it and say, what does plant-based mean to that company? And our customers would really trust us because they know that we're 100% honest. We built our company on the values of being honest, and we're going to read the labels for you. We're going to do all of the hard work. All you have to do is sit back, enjoy, and eat the yummy food. So.
Yeah, and our ingredients are posted on the website. It's everything you know what it is. You know what broccoli is, what pasta is. You know what.
You can pronounce everything.
Yeah, you can pronounce it. It's no. There's no surprises or chemicals. It's simple. Simplicity. You know.
Yeah, it's like shopping for a car is overwhelming.
Oh yes.
Way too many car choices out there. Like, I'll just take that car.
Yeah. Give me just a simple one. Yeah.
But
give me one that lasts me 20 years.
It's such a good concept, and it's kind of like minimalism. Trying to find that balance between like too many hobbies or too much clothes or too much stuff, and like simplifying it, like knowing what you like. And with the food stuff, it's like how you feel is as you get older, I think you're able to comprehend how you feel. And then value your feeling as you get older. You're understanding, ooh, this, when I eat this makes me feel a certain way. So what you guys are doing is truly amazing. San Diego thanks you, and I'm excited to try at some point more of your product and spread the word, because you guys can blow up. You have it going on, and that is the product and your amazing energy, and also your work ethic, right? You're not afraid to get your hands dirty and go to places that you wouldn't normally go, whether it's a CrossFit gym or some random guy's studio,
some random guy from Instagram.
Yeah.
Hey, pretty girl. You're very.
Just the bravery and kind of keep going, and it's gonna spread like wildfire. So I hope you guys are ready for it to blow up.
We definitely are.
I think you ever watch Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think a couple reasons why something doesn't work is like they don't have enough capital for when it does blow up. So I hope you guys are ready. Get in those kitchens. Where are your kitchens? Where's your food made at?
So we do have a commercial kitchen in Claremont. So it's pretty centrally located, which does allow us for easier deliveries throughout San Diego.
And how big is it?
And pick up as well.
So we could visualize, like, how big is your commercial kitchen? Because it's got to be a little pricey to rent that out.
And
I don't know, like, square footage.
it's probably over 1,000 square feet.
We would just say, is it about as big as this place?
Yeah.
Like the whole place?
Yeah.
Like 1,000, 1,100 square feet.
Okay. So somewhere around there. And we have, like,
the big
3
walk-in
ovens.
refrigeration and freezers that we don't even use because we don't use frozen food. But we have that in the space, dry storage. And we're working with, we have an oven that's maybe like
it's huge.
2/3 of the size of this room, with this like it's a rotating oven, so it's actually like on an open flame, and then
it's actually pretty cool how that worked out, because when we first started, we were cooking out of Angela's kitchen for a very short period of time. And then my upstairs
proof of concept.
COVID happened, right? And then we I was talking with an upstairs neighbor, and he was just like, he owns a couple of restaurants in San Diego, and he was like, oh yeah, well, I run this commissary, nobody's using it because COVID lockdown. If you guys just want to use it for 3 weeks or until this lockdown is over, then sure, just pay me like $100 or something, I don't know. And we're still there. We're still there 2 years later, 2.5 years later, so it worked out for us.
And do you have employees who help you, or is it just you two?
We do have people who help us. As we mentioned, like off the podcast, so neither Angela nor I have professional experience in culinary arts, right? So our chopping skills aren't that professional. We know how to cook, we know how to make the food very delicious, but we have hired people who could chop really well and professionally, like your prep cooks. We do have prep cooks, we do have drivers. We were doing the deliveries ourselves for a period of time, but San Diego is very big, and the more customers we've had, it's impossible to do the cooking, shopping, routes, everything, you know. So we are growing, and we are bringing on more people to help us.
Cool. My partner in crime, John Swafford, who I've had featured a little bit, he is the head chef at the Regal Seagull. He claims he has the fastest knife in the West, so he's really good at chopping.
I'd love to see that.
He's probably working right across the street, and he's been helping me a ton, so shout out John, thank you so much. And
what's the restaurant?
It's the Regal Seagull. It's kind of a bar.
Okay.
I feel like I've heard of it.
Sports bar-y, traditional American food.
It's
right across the street.
vegan?
Yeah, they do like a vegetarian sausage and a vegan burger.
Okay.
And they do like fried green beans and tater tots. And I'm trying to get him to make this Caesar dressing into a salad and add some pumpkin seeds and avocado.
Maybe I'll go in there and ask them, do you have any vegan Caesar
why
dressing?
don't you just speak for me? I think that might work.
Yeah, right?
You go in and be like, hey, like I heard there's a kale Caesar salad on the menu now. And he'll be like, do you know Skylar? And I'll be like, no.
Skylar?
Who's that?
Then he hears a podcast a few hours later. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, that guy? No, we just met. Yeah, I'm trying to get him to incorporate the salad dressing, so I think over time it will happen.
You know what? I think going back to Chipotle, places are going where the money is. So a company like Chipotle is not going to introduce a plant-based option if people aren't coming and they're asking for it. You know, that's not like they're doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. They're doing it because customers are going to go in and spend the money, you know. So I know with the Culinary Institute of America, I've done some of their webinars, and there were like tons of people from Bon Appetit magazine and these like hot Michelin star restaurants, and they're on the forums going like, how do I do this and this vegan? How do I do this and this plant-based? Because they don't know. So like, there is a demand for it and they're looking for it, but it's them finding us, you know, and there's so much out there that people have to wade through. So I think making those like connections, it would be great, because it would give me an option. If he has a kale salad, I could go in there and actually order. You know, I'm not going to go in there and get like tater tots or whatever, you know. So
it's good to know.
Knowing that there's money out there for the business owner, I think is really important.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we all have to make a living.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
You know, sadly, that's just where it is.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, at this point, whatever it takes to get to that goal, right? Whatever it takes to like help the animals, whatever it takes to like help climate, whatever it takes to help with
our
health.
own individual health. You know,
Exactly.
I think there's the 3 or 4 pillars. I break it up into 4. It's health and fitness, and then animals and environment, in whatever order you want to prioritize it. With COVID, like, it's a huge wake-up call to get off your ass and start going and eating more produce and stop being lazy and eating whatever you want, because that's when something comes knocking on the door like COVID, it might be better to be prepared.
For sure.
You know, just do the best you can.
Yeah.
It's not like, if you're doing the best you can, you know, shit happens.
Yeah.
Like there's bad breaks in life all the time. Things happen all the
For
time.
sure.
You want to be prepared, not for the worst case scenario. You just want to feel good every day. And I feel like my energy is way up, and there's just so many benefits that I would just challenge people to try it for. How long do you think someone should try it being plant-based? Like, what's a fair allotted time? Like 6 months?
I think that's a
3
really
months?
good question. If we're talking about completely cutting, so I can go in different directions with it, but if someone wants to give up meat and see how they feel, I think 2 weeks to 1 month is plenty of time to feel a difference. I think your taste buds change in 2 weeks, so I wouldn't do it before the 2 week mark, but then at a month you will be feeling the effects. I don't even think it's going to be waiting 6 months to feel an effect. You're going to know. But
2 weeks, that's it. That's a pretty, 2 weeks to a month is a really short time commitment, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, in reality, I think that's all that it takes, because in 2 weeks your taste buds are going to change. In a month, look at how fast our society changed during COVID. Like, and people are still not going back to their old routines, because it's like, oh, they were only working out outside or doing their own routines for a year, but now they're still doing it. Like, gym memberships are down because people got used to not going, you know. So it's like, it takes a very short period of time for us to actually change.
But see, Skylar, the big thing is, I've talked to many people, and people find out I am part owner of a plant-based meal prep company. One common thing is like, oh, I tried to go vegan for 2 weeks, or I tried to go do this, but I just gave up. But they try to cook themselves. So if you're omnivore your entire life, you have no other concept of eating healthy. If you ate really unhealthy your entire life, the concept of eating whole food plant-based is foreign. So you go to the store, you buy a bunch of fruits and vegetables, and then what do I do with this? Okay, well, I'm going to make a salad. Okay, well, I'm going to make a pasta and put like lemon on it because I don't know what other dressing or sauce to put. You know, so it's very bland. The food is it's a lot of work. It's overwhelming, right? So having stuff like this, having us cook, or having other options to just have these delicious prepared meals for you takes the work out. So in terms of how long it would take to change, the 2 weeks is definitely possible if there's delicious food presented to you. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to get overwhelmed.
You need to dive into it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're listening and you want delicious food delivered at your work or your doorstep, plant-based meals. Where do you find you? On Instagram?
Instagram, Facebook.
Follow plant-based meals on Instagram.
Plant-based meals now. TikTok.
Plant-based meals now.
I'm trying to get back on there. Plant-based meals.
Do you have a website?
PlantBasedMealsNow.com.
PlantBasedMeals.com, and people can subscribe.
Yeah.
PlantBasedMealsNow.com.
Yeah.
And they can subscribe. And what's your packages look like? I saw something as $260 for 20 meals.
For 20 meals a week.
That's a great deal.
It's only $13 a meal, and that's free delivery.
That's incredible.
Right.
Because I just spent like $15 on a waffle. Like anything here in North County is way more than $13.
No, for sure. And somebody was just telling me they went to McDonald's and spent like $15 on like two
Easy.
burgers. Or
Fast food is not what it once was.
You know, if you're gonna spend the money, you choose where you spend your money for sure.
And do you guys have how far does your delivery service go geographically?
Yeah, so we do deliver up to as far north as Carlsbad, as far south as Chula Vista. We do Santee, parts of El Cajon, Poway, all central San Diego.
All of San Diego.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
amazing.
much all of San Diego.
So we take downtown and we do a 25-mile radius from there.
Mhm.
Anyone that's outside of that can come in to meet our drivers within our radius, or they can do kitchen pickup. So we do offer that, and that's in Claremont.
And it's free delivery.
Yeah,
Free.
That's incredible.
With any meal package, yeah.
That's like, have you heard of the kind of the pick and choose grocery, like farm
The
to
grab and
table?
go?
Not Instacart. It's when you kind of randomly get a bunch of stuff delivered, but it's not prepped. It's not like actual meals. It's just produce.
Are you talking about the imperfect produce, or?
Yeah, there's imperfect
There's
produce
certain
and there's
programs where you're getting
like a
produce.
box?
And it's just, my brother does it, and it's just like kind of, within your community, you just get random produce, and this is like this on steroids. Like you don't have to make it. It's just
for sure.
it's way more advantageous to someone who's trying to try something new, who doesn't really have expertise in the kitchen.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's just so convenient because even as when we first started this, both of us agreed, we're like, okay, like neither one of us would actually pay for meal prep ourselves, but like there's a demand for it, so cool, let's do it. However, since we've started bringing home leftovers every single week, meals, like I know Angela said this in the kitchen or earlier this week, I don't know how I live without it. So now it's so convenient. So sometimes I come home and I'm so hungry and I don't want to get hangry, right? So I'm like, boom, plant-based meals. I don't even heat them up sometimes. I just eat them cold, and it's like great. And you never feel guilty about it. Just chopping down an entire plant-based meal.
The best part of being plant-based to me is I get to eat like so much. I feel like
Because
I
it
love
goes
eating.
through you,
Yeah,
right?
it's
You
just-
digest
yeah.
it, and you get to eat again.
I feel like I get to eat like way more. And as you do it, we talk about like, if you're just trying it for 2 weeks or a month and you're converting or whatever, and you're not really sure what to do, you might not do it the right way, like you're saying. Get fruit and not sugar. You gotta like dive into it and learn about it. And I say we should all have our masters in nutrition, because we all eat 2, 3, 4 times a day, every day. There's really nothing else that's as important as food in our world. It doesn't matter what shape, size, color you are. Like, learn about food, because it's sad that we're not being taught in elementary school or high school or college, or even in our medical schools, which is the worst. About like, everyone should be an expert in nutrition, and they're just hoaxing us. They're faking us out.
Going back to the basics. Nutrition.
Yeah.
Whole food, plant-based, nutrition. It's so basic, so simple, so important.
And learn about it. Like, you need to do your research, be proactive, and do some research on your own, and then through trial and error, you'll figure out what works for your body and what doesn't. And you got to do it for a long enough time where you give yourself some time to learn and try different things, because you could just listen to us and try something. Most people don't want to do that. They want to experience it themselves and do their own research. And I think it's important that you give yourself some time to watch some documentaries, listen to podcasts, read some books. China Study's a great book, or How Not to Die by Michael Greger is another great book. There's so many out there now. Like we were saying before, the research is endless. And there's so much on Instagram and social media that like 2 years ago, it was not like what it is now.
For
It's
sure.
overwhelming.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about social media, is it's a tool to get the actual truth out, because industry in America pretty much owns our political system, and the FDA definitely has its hands in our school system. I mean, tomato sauce on pizza is considered a vegetable in our schools. You know, that's where the children are going to learn, and to learn how to eat and develop these very important habits that are going to affect the rest of their life. So there's great programs. One of our customers, Barbara Gates, she owns a nonprofit called Lean and Green Kids, and it is going into the school system and changing it from the inside out, you know, and doing education and reform, and using beans as protein, and teaching the kids while they're young, you know, so that they can develop a full life, and a life full of energy and longevity and being healthy. The last 20 years of your life don't have to be spent in and out of a hospital. You know, you can thrive. So
well said. Michael Greger says beans are so good for you that you should eat them 3 times a day. So for people who don't like beans, like, you gotta change that.
But there's so many ways you can season. I mean, coming from a Mexican background, beans is a huge part of our like diet. I mean,
to jump out of your chair.
Beans taste delicious without lard. Beans taste delicious. Like, there's so many different ways you can make it. So many seasonings, and it's.
What's your favorite? Favorites?
So I do love these black bean burgers. They're one of my favorite things. We have one of our favorite meals we have for plant-based meals. I used to love it. My grandma would just make frijoles de olla, which is just like the whole beans. She'll just make them just sit there in their juices, and we'll add like my grandpa's fresh salsa and like lime. It was just very simple, very delicious, and I mean, it's, you know, then you don't think it's vegan, but it's just almost soup. It's almost like a bean soup. It's just so good, simple. Very simple, very
some
pretty.
customers that only come when we have soups.
Yeah. That's my favorite. Very simple, whole beans, salsa.
We could even, when you do hummus, our hummus is beans. So you don't have to even always be eating the bean. You can eat it in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, lentils.
Lentils too.
The single bachelor way to eat beans is like open up a can, put some salt in the can.
Do you eat them straight from the can?
Tired from like workout, 2 volleyball practices.
You definitely need plant-based meals.
I probably do. I think everyone does.
Yeah.
It's not just a me thing. I think it makes sense for everyone, and yeah, it's truly amazing that, you know, you're using no added oil and no added sugar and no vegan processed foods. I think that's a big understanding for people, that vegan is processed foods. So even if you want to keep eating meat, that's fine. Like, do your thing. Just limit the processed foods. Limit the Doritos. Limit, you know, the candy bars, and, you know, try to eat more real food. And, you know, that stuff is real in the world of, like, it's tangible. It's not really good for you. So limit the processed food. I think
that's a great point. Yeah, a lot of vegans are not healthy. Just being vegan doesn't make you any healthier than someone that eats meat. You have to actually learn about nutrient dense foods, caloric density. You want to look at like the colors of your food. Is it rich and vibrant? Like the cabbage that you gave us, the purple cabbage. Well, where does the purple come from? It's nutrients. The dark leafy greens and vegetables, carrots. You know, just learning about that stuff. When I turned vegetarian at 11, vegan at 15, I was by no means like a whole food plant-based advocate at that time. It was like, Fritos are vegan. Are they healthy? No. It's, you know, a fried corn and oil. So yeah, it definitely, so I've had several different transitions during my adult life. Getting into whole food plant-based, I felt that shift again of going from having less energy to having incredible amounts of energy, like, and not getting tired. Like, when I eat now, I'm never tired. I don't like eat and have to go take a nap. You know, like sometimes vegan meals, you can do that if you're eating just like a vegan burger from, you know, I'm not going to name any things, I'm not going to bash it. I think all of the choices are important for us, but it's just not how I choose to eat anymore, you know, because I'm going to feel good after I eat.
We'll get Sonya on board. I think that's quite amazing that well you're doing the plant-based meals. You still incorporate some meat.
Yeah.
And then it's more mindful though.
Definitely
I mean, it's
more
been
mindful.
2 years you've been doing this business.
Yeah, it's been 2 years, and I do have to say, since I have been with plant-based meals, the amount of cheese I eat, I mean, also for health reasons, it just drastically decreases. Like, I used to love string cheese.
Me too.
And, like, you know,
Cheese
it's still
sandwiches.
there, like, in our fridge. It's probably bad now. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't eat it. And
Right.
it's definitely more mindful. I mean, hanging out with Angela a lot, I'm definitely more mindful on what I buy. I mean, I'll still buy purses, but I'm very, like, wow, I'm very aware now that it's like, okay, this is leather. Or, like, maybe I could buy this secondhand. And we're looking at my sister's closet. I was looking at purses that I really love, but secondhand. Okay, I'm not adding to the problem by buying directly to the source. It's like secondhand. It's already made. Like, there are ways around, or buying down pillows. I was like Angela when I got moved in with my boyfriend. We got a new place. I was like, okay, I really don't want to buy these down pillows, like for the ethical reasons. So I am definitely more mindful of what I do, what I eat. Yeah.
And it's only been a couple of years.
Yeah, it's only been a couple of years.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
for me, it's like, you know, I have these cool Ponto shoes on. Shout out to Kind Humans and Ponto shoes. My first pair of free stuff from being like an ambassador with Kind Humans.
Nice.
Never thought that was a real thing. Like you get free shoes.
Those are nice.
So these are like not leather, and I have
Are they
leather
comfy?
shoes. Yeah, they're really comfy.
Can I feel them?
And
Yeah,
give me your
touch
foot.
them.
Give me your
Take them off and
foot.
smell them and, you know, they're
Smell 'em.
they're actually really
Awesome.
sharp looking. So Ponto
I
footwear.
do like them.
Uh, And like I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to buy. You know, I have leather stuff. I'm not gonna add. I'm like done though.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you just
Write that down.
yeah, Ponto.
Ponto. What'd you say?
Kind Humans is kind of the movement. It's like you haven't heard of Kind Humans?
No.
Ah, all right.
Teach
Well,
me.
Well, Adam Instone is a man who helped me get affiliated with Kind Humans, and they have like the stickers, and kindness is always cool, and it's just a great reminder to be kind. And for me, it's been a great reminder, just that. So, yeah, just like you're talking about fast fashion versus slow fashion, and you know, just understanding like how much impact food and our animal agriculture or animal slaughterhouse, whatever you want to call it, what it really is animal farming, that is having a huge impact on us, like emotionally, and then more importantly on our environment. So Ponto footwear hooked it up with some synthetic
That's so cool.
leather. The vegan food pop-up is this Saturday. Shout out to Michelle May and the vegan food pop-up.
Hi, Michelle.
And we will be
Michelle.
there.
Yeah, so I've been the last couple times, so we should coordinate and
For sure.
talk to Michelle. And there's a vegan leather guy, and it's really cool stuff.
Yeah?
And there's purses. So
Do they have bells? I've been looking for a good vegan bell.
I've seen the cork.
Yeah.
Is it the cork?
yeah,
over
he's
there?
from like
I think
somewhere.
they're from Portugal. They're from
somewhere.
He's
I
the
wanna
source
say
of cork
like
from Portugal.
Russia or Ukraine, but with what's going on right now in the world, I can't just. He's
You
from.
don't use that
Don't confuse
interchangeably.
it.
No, I'm not. That's why I feel like he is from one of those two places though, and he has some amazing vegan leather.
I have to check that out.
It's really cool stuff.
All
Like
right.
bags, purses. So
Yeah.
I'm sure
Cool.
we'll be able to
Yeah.
splurge a little bit at the vegan food pop up this Saturday off 101 in Encinitas, San Diego.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I have one question, and I think we could maybe wrap up after that.
Yeah.
I've been asking this to all my guests, and it's the key to life. And we've had an amazing set of answers on the last 19 episodes, so they keep getting better and better.
Well, I strongly believe the key to life, in terms of living, the key to life is peace. Whether it be inner peace, external peace, but I do believe peace, or it really starts on an individual level. So once you have that inner peace, that self-awareness, that inner love and acceptance, it does spread. There's no way in the world you can have inner peace and inner love and create war and create hostility towards someone else. So I definitely do think inner peace is the key to life. And I think it should be the ultimate goal for each individual.
Amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Aw, I'm gonna sit in that for a second.
Yes, this is
I'm gonna
something
let
you
the
can't just
peace
rush
wash over
because
me.
you're like, yeah, it's better. this is something that, you know, is, I feel like my answer was a little surface oriented. It's like for me, like versus I do like shoes. It's more like just each day is a new day. So like waking up with the sun and making the bed. You know, if I could get off to that start, like the day is majority gonna be great. So I go for great days, not good days, and the whole sticker. Have you seen the sticker "No bad days" or "Only good days"? Like you guys should create a sticker. We should like "Only great days."
Yeah,
Just
I love that.
one up. So the whole podcast thing that I'm doing here, we're trying to touch. It used to be just one person. Now we're at 10 people. So we're trying to impact 10 people today. Inner peace, Sonya, amazing answer. I think it's hard to kind of, you know, gauge inner peace when you're moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So
it's a daily practice.
yes, it's got
Constant reminder.
And what's something you do? Can you share?
Yeah, so something I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Singer. He's definitely big on surrender, allowing, and also in senses inner peace. So one thing he does recommend is just 15 minutes meditation in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. Very simple. Doesn't have to be 3-hour meditation at the gardens or in the sunshine. You know, it's 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. And I think it's just conscious self-awareness, being the observer of your thoughts and being the observer of your emotions, and recognizing that they're not always real. They're not always, the mind isn't always what it makes it out to be. So just being the observer of your thoughts, and there's peace behind that. There's
You
peace
practice meditation daily. For those who
I attempt
do
daily.
not,
Yeah, mostly.
yeah, for those who do not practice meditation daily, 15 minutes will feel like 3 hours.
It does. But work
So
your way up.
Do like 5 minutes.
Yeah, start off 5 minutes,
two
put your
minutes.
alarm on, and then
Yeah.
work your way up.
Yeah,
From
you
5
get there
minutes, do
quick.
6 minutes, then do 7 minutes. 15 minutes eventually would be like, oh, cool.
Yeah, meditation's huge. So for me,
Yeah.
I like running, and my friends like that's kind of your meditation. Like my working out is my meditation. Gardening for me.
Nature.
I
Yeah.
love gardening. I love making my backyard look perfect. It's really fun to decorate plants. So I'm excited to do that after this.
Yeah.
He has a nice hammock out there.
Yeah, I have a hammock, and then like the Costco one that you can kind of tie around 2 poles. I don't know if that fits in your backyard. It's a gift that I've like yet to use. It's kind of like a cocoon.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, those are
Green and yellow.
nice.
I haven't used it
Really?
because I don't have. Yeah, so do you have 2 poles that you can throw it up?
Poles.
I don't have a
I
yard.
guess I would have to see how it is on the patio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have the
we'll
canyon.
follow
I
up.
have the canyon. Yeah.
We'll follow up. It's
Yeah.
just in my truck doing nothing.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
camp. I think it's for camping.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
out camping. Key to life.
Yeah, key to life. You know, well, I love both of your answers, and I don't think there's a right or wrong one. But something that is very important to me is truth. And it's funny because my partner and I talk about stuff like this a lot, and he talks about happiness, and I always feel like for my personality type, like happiness can't be a goal because I know too much truth, and so I really care to live by my values so that I'm just, and it sounds so cheesy, like living in my truth, right? Like seeing the world for what it is and then contributing to what I believe in with that so that I can be happy. Like I couldn't just have happiness as a goal because I just feel like I know too much. Like I research too much. I know about suffering. So for me, I am very involved in volunteer work. Like one of my friends said to me, if I got paid for all the volunteer work I did, I'd be a millionaire. So yeah, just finding the causes and knowing it, but doing something about it. For me, that just makes me feel like my life is worth something and gets me up every day and just keeps me very active. You know, not sitting on the sofa watching TV, but being a part of life, and it's very rewarding. So, and we've been able to do that with our business.
Yeah.
Does the truth bring happiness to you?
I think that living in the truth is very satisfying to me. Yeah, I love being happy and creating moments, but knowing that there's still more work to do just gives me motivation in my life. So, yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard that response either of them, so thank you for adding to the plethora of key to lives. At some point, if you're listening, you could just listen to the last 5 minutes of each episode, and you know, it's kind of like when you're leaving, either here or you know, you're gonna remember the last little bit the most. So I like to end on something that's a little general, not food related, not plant-based, this, but just key to life, and hopefully we could touch 10 people, and at some point that'll go to 100, and then 1,000,
Then 1,000,000.
and then 1,000,000, and then we'll be content with 1,000,000.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, Skylar, thank you so much for having us. I mean, it is great for you just to reach out to somebody on Instagram and just be like, okay, cool, like come over, because you don't know us either. We're strangers in your home. Like, just
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you for having us, and thank you for creating this movement.
Yeah.
This sauce is amazing.
Yeah.
You
Simone
must
Caesar.
ask your restaurants and ask grocery stores for it, because that's how stuff gets brought in, you know?
Well, I'm talking to my
Simone
tax
Caesar.
guy tomorrow, creating an LLC. You guys have to do
Great,
that,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
then do all the paperwork to make it legitimate,
Yeah.
and then from there it's go time. So once that happens,
I love it.
we'll hopefully do like a plant-based meals Simone Caesar.
Collab, yeah,
Yes,
for
collab.
sure.
We love
Being-
collaborating.
Being
We love
whole
it.
food plant based, you would fit right in. A lot of sauce companies have reached out to us, but we can't collaborate with them because they have oil in their sauces. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll
Ladies,
definitely keep in touch.
yes, of course, of course. It's been fun randomly
yeah,
getting together and sharing all this love and energy on the mic, and give one last wave. Again, you've been listening to Into the Blue Zone, a plant-based production and the podcast of San Diego. Everyone have an amazing day.
thank you.